If you need some solid rear end protection that you can count on for your 2020 or newer JT Gladiator, this officially licensed Jeep HD rear bumper with the Jeep logo will do just the trick. Now this will be a great addition to your JT if you're taking it off-road and not only need tougher protection compared to the factory plastics, but useful utility and added recovery features to create a very functional setup, all while being backed by the officially licensed Jeep quality. Now, the styling of this bumper will also be great if you're not the avid off-roader and just want that off-road look to match with other HD accessories and protection for street driving. Now this will feature a boxy full coverage build to offer wheel-to-wheel protection, but I do like that on the ends this is a little bit angled up, so you are getting some better departure angles there. Now you're also going to get an embossed Jeep logo on either side, which is going to add a little bit of style to either end of this bumper. Now in the center you'll also see a large cutout here. This is mainly going to house your license plate as well as your hitch plug and the license plate lights here, but it is also going to offer a solid step up into your bed for better access. You're also getting some recovery with this rear bumper. So on either side, you'll have a welded D-ring mount capable of holding a D-ring with up to a 95-pound pulling capacity, and you're going to get the addition of the hook on the upper and lower portion of that mount. Now the bumper will also have cutouts for rear end cube lighting for additional rear visibility, which will allow you to add it in time or not at all if you don't need it, thanks to the stylish honeycomb filler plates. This will also keep up to your factory features. Again, you are going to be able to swap over all of your factory items in the center here, but this will have pre-drilled holes for those factory rear parking sensors, and it will come with all the hardware to mount them up effortlessly. Now this will be able to take a hit made of a thick steel plate construction. Now on top will feature a premium 2-stage epoxy pre-coat and fine textured black powder coat for a premium and heavy duty appearance, in addition to the very useful rust prevention to keep this thing looking new for years to come. Now again, this will also come with everything that you need to make sure that the swap will be effortless. It is going to be a direct bolt-on mod, so you won't have to worry about any modifications to your Gladiator when it comes to install, and we'll show you how to do that in just a minute. Now this will be pretty average compared to others in the category when it comes to price, at roughly $725. Now when stacking this up against other options available on the site, this will keep it simple and pretty compact for a rear bumper while offering all the necessities out of an off-road rear bumper that you would want out of one. Now, not to mention being officially licensed by Jeep means that this is going to be backed with that OE quality that you're used to, so you can rest assured that you can rely on this bumper for your Gladiator. Install will be a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter and should take you about 2 hours to get the job done with some pretty basic hand tools. You may need an extra hand to mount this up because it is kind of heavy, but it should only take you about 2 hours again to get it done. Now at this point we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown on how to get this onto your Gladiator at home. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
The tools you're going to need for this install include an impact, an electric or regular 3/8 ratchet, an 18, 16, and 10 millimeter socket, a 13/16 and an 18 millimeter wrench, your included Allen key, a clip removal tool, and a panel removal tool. What's up guys? Today we're going to be installing a rear bumper on our Gladiator, but before we get started you're going to watch a short video on how to uninstall your stock components, and I'll meet you back here for the install.
So the first step to removing our rear bumper is to remove the license plate. Now I'm going to use a 10 millimeter socket in order to do that. However, depending on the hardware that you have mounted up for your license plate, your tool may depend. So using that 10 millimeter socket, I'm just going to remove the 2 bolts on top. And then once we remove the license plate, that's going to expose 2 bolts in the middle. Next, with the 16 millimeter socket, we can remove these 2 bolts that are holding on the center part of our rear bumper. Next, now that we're underneath the truck, what we can do is disconnect our hitch plug wire. So you just have to depress that clip and pull back. You want to make sure that there's no clip that is secured to the bumper. If so, you are going to need a trim removal tool or a clip removal tool. There may be a Christmas tree clip that holds this to the bumper and also to the frame. You just want to make sure that it's disconnected from the bumper. Next, we can disconnect the license plate light wiring harness. So I'm just going to depress that clip and pull back. Now all we just have to do is press down and pull back. And then what we can do next is take a clip removal tool and just make sure that the wiring harness that's coming out of the bumper is disconnected from the frame. We don't want the frame and the bumper connection, because if we pull back on the bumper, it's still going to be connected with this wiring harness. I'm just going to use a clip removal tool and we can disconnect that from the frame. And then our next step is to disconnect the bumper at the frame itself. With a 16mm socket, we can remove the 2 nuts on either side that are holding the bumper to the frame rail right here. Then we can repeat that on the other side. Now that everything's disconnected, what we can do is completely remove the bumper from the Jeep. So we're just going to grab the bumper and pull back. Now, if you do have a different trim level, there may be a couple more bolts. You may have 2 more down here. However, that should basically do it as far as the attachment system from the bumper to the Jeep. Last but not least, we can disconnect our factory tow hook. This is held in by 2 21mm bolts. So I'm going to use a 21mm socket and a 1/2 inch drive ratchet in order to remove those. So we do have to take out our license plate light housing and the wiring harness, as well as our hitch plug here. So I'm going to start with the hitch plug. I have a flathead screwdriver. I'm just going to depress these 2 tabs on either side and we can just push it out the front. Once both clear the bumper, I'll just fall right out, put that to the side. And then we can start by undoing this wiring harness for the license plate lights. So I am just gonna take a clip removal tool and start popping these out. And we can also unplug these just by pressing down on the clip and pulling back. And we can put this harness to the side. And then we can push the housing out the front. So if you just pull up on this tab, you should be able to clear that tab on the side of the light. Same with the bottom. All right, and we can do the same thing on the other side.
Now we're going to install our factory tag lights into our location. We're going to make sure that the connector is facing towards the back of the bumper. We're going to slide it in. A little click. For the other side, same thing. Then we can take our connector that's on the back and make sure that this connector is on the driver's side. We can go ahead and connect them through the back. Now we're going to plug in our trailer harness connector. We're just going to push it through. There's these metal tabs that you'll hear a click. Now you're in place. If your vehicle comes equipped with sensors in your rear bumper, you're going to need to remove those and transfer them over to our new one, which you'll insert your sensor through there and take these plastic retainers and they'll clip over top. But in our case, we do not have sensors, so we'll be using this rubber plug, which slides down between the prongs. Press in. Then you take your round foam piece and you'll stick it on the outside. Now we'll do that for over here. With your rubber, you peel the white backing off. And now you can repeat that process on the other side. Now we're gonna take our stud plate and insert it through our bracket. Then we can take our plastic shims and thread them on. So during the installation, the studs do not come out. Now you can repeat that process on the other side. Moving on to the vehicle, we're going to be installing our mounting bracket. Our bracket is going to be facing with this lip facing towards the mounting points here. So you're going to line up the holes that are on top of the rail, insert our bolt and washer through the top. Then we can take our washer, lock washer, and nut and thread that on through the bottom. Then we can take our 18mm socket and 18mm wrench to tighten this down. Same orientation for the front, bolt and washer. Washer. Lock washer. And our bolt. Now you can repeat that on the other side. So now that you have your additional mounting brackets installed, we're going to install our bumper with our studs that'll go through our mounting points here and here. So we just slide our studs through. So now that you have your studs through the mounting brackets, we're going to be installing our hardware, which is the washer, lock washer, and your nut. For the top stud. Then you can take your 18mm socket. Now it might be a little tricky for you guys to see, but for the upper additional mounting bracket, we're going to take our bolt and washer, thread it through the hole. Then our washer, our lock washer, and our bolt, and our nut. Now using your 18mm socket and 18mm wrench, we can tighten these 3 bolts down. Now you can repeat that process on the other side. Now we're going to connect our tag lights to our connector over here. So we're going to loop this over the trailer mount. Make our connection. Push in the red tab. We can use our clip, put it into place to hold it up. Then we can take our trailer harness and connect it to our connector. And you're all set. So that's going to wrap up the install on our officially licensed Jeep HD rear bumper with Jeep logo for your 2020 and newer Jeep Gladiator JT. Thanks for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it here at extremeterrain.com.